In the serene village of Ratanapura, nestled amidst the verdant hills of northern Thailand, lived a young monk named Ananda. His life at the Wat Phra Dhammakaya monastery was one of simplicity and profound introspection. Ananda had always been deeply curious about the nature of the mind and the path to enlightenment as taught by the Buddha. From a young age, Ananda was captivated by the teachings of the Dhamma. He spent countless hours meditating under the Bodhi tree at the edge of the monastery, seeking to understand the intricate workings of the mind and the essence of existence. His mentor, the Venerable Bhikkhu Sumedha, often guided him through the teachings of the Tripitaka, emphasizing the importance of mindfulness, compassion, and the middle way. One tranquil evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Ananda approached Bhikkhu Sumedha with a question that had been stirring in his mind for weeks. "Venerable Bhikkhu," Ananda began, "I have been pondering the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. How can one truly cultivate a mindset that is free from the clutches of ignorance and delusion?" Bhikkhu Sumedha, a man of serene presence and profound wisdom, smiled gently. "Ananda, the journey to a liberated mind is both intricate and beautiful. It is a path that requires diligence, mindfulness, and an unwavering commitment to the Dhamma. Let me tell you a story that might help illuminate this path for you. In a distant land, in the kingdom of Magadha, there lived a wealthy merchant named Kavi. Despite his immense wealth and material success, Kavi was plagued by a deep sense of dissatisfaction and unease. He found no joy in his riches, and his mind was constantly tormented by worries and fears. One day, while traveling through the countryside, Kavi encountered an enlightened sage meditating under a banyan tree. The sage radiated an aura of peace and contentment that immediately captivated Kavi. "Great sage," Kavi said, bowing deeply, "I am tormented by the incessant turmoil of my mind. Despite my wealth, I find no peace. Please, guide me to the path of true happiness." The sage opened his eyes and gazed at Kavi with compassion. "The path to true happiness lies not in external possessions, but in understanding and mastering your own mind. Sit with me, and I shall teach you the principles of the Dhamma." Kavi eagerly sat down, and the sage began to explain the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. He taught Kavi the importance of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Under the sage's guidance, Kavi began to practice mindfulness meditation. He learned to observe his thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing them to arise and pass away like clouds in the sky. Through this practice, Kavi discovered the transient nature of all phenomena and the importance of living in the present moment. As days turned into weeks, Kavi's mind began to settle. He found a deep sense of inner peace and clarity that he had never experienced before. The sage's teachings resonated deeply within him, and he realized that true happiness could only be found by turning inward and cultivating a mind free from attachment and aversion. One day, as Kavi was meditating by a serene lake, he had a profound realization. He saw that all his suffering stemmed from his own desires and attachments. By letting go of these mental afflictions, he could attain true liberation. This insight filled him with immense joy and gratitude. With his newfound wisdom, Kavi returned to his life as a merchant, but his perspective had fundamentally shifted. He continued to engage in his business, but he did so with a mind rooted in mindfulness and compassion. He treated his employees with kindness, conducted his affairs with integrity, and used his wealth to support those in need. Kavi's transformation did not go unnoticed. The people of Magadha were inspired by his newfound sense of peace and contentment. They sought his guidance and learned the principles of the Dhamma from him. Kavi's life became a testament to the power of a mind cultivated in mindfulness and wisdom. As Bhikkhu Sumedha concluded the story, Ananda sat in deep contemplation. He realized that the path to a liberated mind was not a distant dream, but a practical journey that required dedication and mindfulness in every moment. "Thank you, Venerable Bhikkhu," Ananda said, bowing deeply. "I understand now that the mind is the key to liberation. I will continue to practice mindfulness and strive to cultivate a mind free from ignorance and delusion." Bhikkhu Sumedha smiled, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of countless lifetimes. Remember, Ananda, the journey to enlightenment is a continuous process. It is through mindful living and compassionate action that we can truly transform our minds and attain liberation. With a heart full of determination and a mind focused on the path of the Dhamma, Ananda returned to his practice. He spent his days in meditation, study, and service, gradually deepening his understanding of the mind and the nature of existence. Ananda's commitment to understanding the mind led him to explore the teachings of the Middle Way more deeply. He recalled the Buddha's guidance on avoiding the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. The Middle Way, he realized, was about finding balance and cultivating a mind that was both disciplined and compassionate. One day, while meditating in the forest, Ananda had a vision of the Buddha. The Buddha's serene presence filled him with a sense of profound peace. In the vision, the Buddha spoke to him, "Ananda, the mind is like a lotus flower. It can rise above the muddy waters of ignorance and bloom in the light of wisdom. Cultivate your mind with care, and it will lead you to enlightenment." Inspired by this vision, Ananda dedicated himself to practicing the Middle Way. He balanced his meditation with physical activity, his study of the scriptures with teaching others, and his moments of solitude with community service. This balanced approach brought a new sense of harmony to his life and deepened his understanding of the mind. One of the core teachings of the Buddha that Ananda embraced was the practice of compassion. He understood that true liberation could not be attained in isolation. It required a heart that was open and compassionate towards all beings. Ananda began to engage more actively in helping the villagers around the monastery. He provided food and medicine to the sick, offered counsel to those in distress, and shared the teachings of the Dhamma with anyone who sought guidance. Through these acts of compassion, Ananda experienced a profound connection with others and a deep sense of fulfillment. One day, a young woman named Maya came to the monastery seeking refuge. She had lost her family and was overwhelmed by grief and despair. Ananda took her under his care, offering her support and teaching her the practices of mindfulness and meditation. Under Ananda's guidance, Maya gradually found solace. She learned to observe her grief without being consumed by it, to find moments of peace in the present, and to cultivate a heart of compassion for herself and others. Her transformation was a testament to the healing power of a mind rooted in mindfulness and compassion. As Ananda continued his journey, he delved deeper into the understanding of impermanence, one of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism. He reflected on the Buddha's words, "All conditioned phenomena are impermanent." When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Ananda observed the changing seasons, the growth and decay of plants, the cycles of birth and death. He saw that everything in life was in a constant state of flux. This realization helped him let go of his attachments and embrace the present moment with equanimity. One evening, as Ananda was meditating by the river, he watched the flowing water and contemplated its impermanence. He realized that just like the river, his thoughts and emotions were constantly changing. By observing them without attachment, he could maintain a state of inner peace and clarity. Another profound teaching that Ananda explored was the concept of non-self anatta. He pondered the Buddha's insight that there is no permanent, unchanging self, but rather a dynamic interplay of physical and mental processes. Through deep meditation, Ananda began to experience moments of insight into the nature of non-self. He saw that his thoughts, feelings, and sensations were not solid entities, but transient phenomena rising and passing away. This understanding brought him a profound sense of freedom and liberation. One day, while meditating in the forest, Ananda had a profound experience of non-self. He felt a deep sense of interconnectedness with all beings and a release from the illusion of a separate self. This experience deepened his compassion and wisdom, and he felt a renewed commitment to the path of enlightenment. Years passed, and Ananda's dedication to the Dhamma bore fruit. He became known as a wise and compassionate teacher, guiding countless individuals on their own paths too.